Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Live in 1, 3, 2, 1. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever everyone is. Hello, hello. Welcome to Japanese Candlestick Theory. This is where I analyze the charts. I start with Bitcoin, and then I'm going to have a look at TRVL, which is the native token of D-Travel, and then I'm also going to have a look at QANX, which is the native token of the Quan platform. Okay, so let me just go straight into Bitcoin today. I streamed 3 days ago on Tuesday, so if you haven't looked at my previous stream, it's there on my YouTube channel, and if you haven't subscribed, then please subscribe. I'm trying to get this number to 1,000. I'm very close, as you can see. So obviously everyone who helps me, much appreciated. Mucho gusto, as they say in El Salvador, which is where I am now. It's 7 a.m. in sunny El Salvador. You can't see it unless I turn my camera, but it's really nice and beautiful and sunny. And in London it's 2 p.m. So anyway, welcome. If you see my previous stream, I made a cut video here for my previous stream, and then I was talking about some trade ideas. If you remember, if you go back and have a look, you'll see on Tuesday I was talking about some trade ideas. I was just coming up with some trade plans and some trade ideas of what I thought could happen with the price. So sometimes it's good to go back and have a look and see what you do, because it can help with future analysis. And that's kind of what I always do. I always go back and have a look, and this is where I left it on Tuesday. Yeah, if you remember, this is where I left it. I was looking at the order flow. I was looking at everything, actually, and it was actually quite difficult. It's quite difficult because it looks like Bitcoin is dropping. You're thinking, oh my God, this is going down. And now when I look at the charts, voila, how interesting is that? So not financial advice, but it's quite interesting because even though it looked bearish, I suggested that it would probably go up for the reasons that I explained on Tuesday. And then I was looking for a reaction off this trend line of sorts, and we kind of got the reaction. Came back for a back test of sorts, and then right down into this kind of I don't know why I drew this line on Tuesday, but look how amazing that was. It was like a perfect touch of the line that I drew. It's actually quite fascinating, isn't it? And sometimes I don't really know why I do things. Let me kind of go back and see what I was saying, because I can't actually remember. Let's see. Looking for a short, and then still looking to take it down, but you never know. I mean, it is possible for the price to come here, put a higher low here, and break out from here. Ooh, that's interesting. Break out. It's possible. So Oh my God, I was on mute, wasn't I? I was on mute for how long? So I just wanted to update the volume, which I just did. I pulled two volume pools, the local range here and the higher range, slightly higher range here. There's no much changes, but it's always good to update the volume because any significant increase in volume can impact where the price can find support. There's a couple of high volume nodes here that I'm looking at. You see these high volume nodes. And what's interesting about these nodes is that depending on the amount of volume that comes into these areas, a bullish price action would increase the volume so much that it would shift the point of control to one of these lower volume, high volume nodes. And that's kind of what we're looking for to see if that happens as Bitcoin consolidates and comes down. And we had a reaction here, which was off my idea that I had before. So that's interesting. We have to look at that and see why we had that reaction. And naturally, we have these high volume nodes. Let's just have a look at these. Nope. Okay. So I'm just going to hide these now. I've got the volume. I'm going to hide the volume. Got these high volume nodes. I'm going to put them into that one. Yeah. I can delete these now. And I haven't done this recently. I just want to check my higher time frame levels. Okay. Weekly level, daily, monthly. Let's look at the monthly. Not a red month yet, but to be a red month soon, potentially, which will be that new monthly level. And then you've got these daily levels. That daily level, this one has almost been hit. Today we're looking at potentially a red day, potentially. There's a daily level that's being hit right now. Yeah, something like that. Got the higher range volume. We've got these high volume nodes in this daily level, slightly lower here. Let's have a look at the fibs. There's nothing really it's quite messy, isn't it? It's quite messy. There's lots of lines, but they're not really on top of each other. Got that golden pocket, and then okay. That's kind of all our levels at the moment. We're into a little bit of support at the moment, to be honest with you. You see here we got the 2365, 50 fib, and they've got this daily level which we've hit. Now we've washed the daily level. We've gone through it quite heavily, so we've cleared the liquidity, but potentially putting in a higher low. It is possible to put in a higher low here, and if not, then we're going to probably head down further. Probably looking at this, the 618. There's another high volume node. It's in and around this daily level. and maybe these take out these lows there, and then obviously you've got, it's kind of messy, isn't it? It's quite messy to look at. Let's have a look at the order flow. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of, well, we're underneath the daily open, we're underneath the VWAP. That's considered bearish for today. What is this big volume that's just come in here? I just want to have a look at that and see what that is. Like shorts closing and then longs opening at the same time. Bam. Here you've got longs opening. We have liquidation bubbles here. CVD's going up. We've put in a higher high on the price, so there's no bearish divergences here. Not that I can see at the moment. I can't see any divergences. I can't see bearish or bullish divergences. Quite liquid up here. Let me see if there's any single prints. Massive selling tail. That's pretty bearish. Build those single prints. There's some more single prints slightly higher. Let me just mark those off. I'm going to write them into chat. Single prints. 111. 938 to 111. Sorry, 112. 042. Let's see if I see anything else here. Nothing stands out. Okay. It doesn't look like there's any divergences right now, so I can't find any hints as to what could happen next from the order flow. We've put in a lower low here, which we had before, and then we put in another lower low. Yeah, we're into a bit of support right now. You can see it, can't you? There's 236, there's 50 fib, and then this daily level. And I think what we have to do for lower prices is to lose this area. Are we losing it? Yeah, we are losing it in a sense that we're washing it. We haven't lost it yet, but we are washing it. And we had this reaction of this high volume node. So that's quite strong support right now off the reaction of the original reaction. Let's have a look at this previous analysis. This is quite tricky. It's tricky because we have a daily level, we have this golden pocket, and another daily level and a value area low, and they're kind of slightly spread out. So that's kind of why I kind of drew it like this, I think, originally, because you don't really know where the price is going to find support. And you're looking for some kind of structural change here in this area. If the price goes down, if the price drops down here, then it is possible to get a kind of a significant, like another big drop. And then you need time for the price to find some kind of structural support here. While the price consolidates, it would feel really bearish if that happened. And then what you need is you need to break this trend line out. It kind of washed it before it dropped back down after I did that pre-analysis. So that trend line is still, I imagine it's still valid. Even though you could update the trend line and just kind of take the last 2 points, which is what some people would do. They would take the last 2 points like that. and have a new trend line, create new trend line, and imagine a slightly kind of less steep trend line. Yeah, it's pretty tricky. It's tricky because nothing stands out. You get rid of these lines now, just kind of clear the chart a little bit. Right. Now, is there a harmonic in play? That's the question. Let's have a look. I'm interested to see if there's a harmonic. Possibly is. Possibly is. Let's have a look. I always look at my harmonic cheat sheets when I'm looking at harmonics, just because I don't have to guess. I don't have to remember. I can just visually compare the harmonics. Yeah, cipher. There's a cipher in play. I thought there was. Probably from this pivot here to this pivot, to this pivot, to that one, which is a higher pivot, to somewhere here. Not sure where, but you can see it's a cipher, can't you? And we haven't had the correct reaction yet from the point pivot D to confirm that this cipher is in play. Let me just do some kind of, this is a bullish harmonic. Let me do some time analysis on this. Okay. Amazing. We got a reaction here of the 618. See that? And then the 1-to-1 is Wednesday. So actually that was potentially that was the right reaction. It was on Tuesday for the cipher. If we don't take out that low, if we take out that low, then we could go lower. And this hasn't played out yet, simply because with a harmonic, you want to reach the 50 fib of that last leg to hit your target. We haven't done that yet. And so if that pivot D is correct for the cipher, which landed on the 618, then your target is here, the 50 fib, and maybe it could even extend further. Okay. And if it goes lower, then you're actually looking at somewhere like that, like a little bit more kind of extended there. That would work too. That would be Tuesday afternoon. So the question is, if you take out this pivot here, then you're probably going lower for Tuesday to cover more extended cipher. That would be what I would be imagining. And then how far down would you go to make that cipher work? Well, probably the golden pocket, something like that. As far as the 786, but there's nothing there really, so maybe just underneath the golden pocket, somewhere around there. Yeah, maybe take out these lows here. Take out the low here would be a good target. Take out those two lows. There's a couple of lows here which could be taken out quite easily and complete a cipher by Tuesday, or the pivot is in, and that's it. So we have to see what happens next, but we're basically looking at this being hit on Tuesday already with this drop. Yeah. And then we form a higher low here, which is what I was talking about, which is today, higher low. And then if you form a higher low, then you're looking for a 50 fib target, and you're actually looking to break yeah, you would be looking to break that to get to your 50 fib, that outer trend line. And if not, you go lower to somewhere like that. Tuesday, who knows, you could go down to the 786 even, but you kind of just want to lose and reclaim the golden pocket there. That would be ideal. A loss and reclaim the golden pocket on time would be amazing, because it kind of goes back to what I originally did, which was something like that. Golden loss and reclaim. That would be Tuesday. Then you have a kind of, you wait for the reaction. Once you have the reaction, you could take the trade for a long, and then there you would aim for the 50 fib. That would be your trade for a long. Or what I said before is that we just put in a higher low here. Right now, we put in a higher low. That was on the stream on Tuesday that I did. And if we're going to put a higher low here, we put in volume here and just break out like that. Again, hitting our 50 fib. Okay. So we have a kind of consolidate here and just break to the upside. And our cipher pivot has already been put in on Tuesday there. And we're just waiting for the move to the 50 fib. Or we're actually, by next Tuesday, we're actually going down further to hit our pivot here, and then take out these pivots underneath the 50 fib, sorry, the golden pocket, reclaim it, break that trend line, and head up to the 50 fib, same target. All right. So that's kind of what's on my mind now. It's really, we have to see what happens, as always. No one knows, and we just have to see what happens. I'll go back to the order flow to see if I can see anything interesting in the last 10 minutes or so. Anything interesting here? We're underneath the VWAP. We're underneath the daily open. That's considered bearish. Yeah. The minute we reclaim the VWAP, then you could possibly long it to the daily open. That would be a scalp. If you can reclaim the VWAP, that would be a sign of strength on the intraday time frame, taking it up to the, trying to take it up to the daily open. But otherwise, this is considered bearish simply because we're under the VWAP, we're under the daily open. Okay. And so until that changes, you're not going to expect significant volume coming in to take it higher. But we are potentially putting in a higher low, like I analyzed on Tuesday, and we have to see what happens. Do we kind of consolidate here on support and then go down, or do we just consolidate here to break? I think it's more likely that we go down, to be honest with you, in this situation, just simply because of the way the price has gone up and shot up and created that crazy selling tail. It looks a little bit like some kind of SR flip there happening, doesn't it? So I'd be interested to see if we do go down, and then we put a bottom in here on Tuesday for an opportunity for a long. We can get like a local market structure change, a little bottoming pattern, and then break that trend line. And we're basically looking to pump all the way up to back to 116,000. That would be amazing if that happened, because with those cipher pumps, especially on Bitcoin, it'll pump to the 50 fib, and then the latecomers will come in and it could pump all the way up to the all-time high, and you end up with a V-shaped recovery, another V-shaped recovery. Okay. And so I'd be interested to see if that happens, especially since you're breaking this outer trend line. But it's also possible to just go up to the golden pocket and then just put in a lower high and bam, put in another lower low. And so that's something to look out for. If you do kind of go up to the golden pocket, reject, you know, then you're going all the way down back. That'll be like the next real short opportunity if the price does pump, only to reject for a lower high here. And that will probably be a really nice short to have, taking it all the way down to this pivot low down there. Probably that's kind of where you're, wherever your target, 100K probably, somewhere around here, whatever. All right. So that's kind of my trade ideas for Bitcoin. and then we just have to see what happens next. I'm going to put these into group 1, rename Friday analysis. We'll keep those so we can have a look at them. Okay, let me have a look at the week, the candles. Remember 2 weeks ago I said that this red candle was bearish. And look at it, the price has gone down 6% since I said that. I called it quite early. It was extremely bearish because you've got a swing failure of the highs and it just looks terrible, to be honest with you. And it was correct. Now this week what I want to see is I want to see a close above the previous week low. Yeah, I really want to see that. I want to see a close above the previous, which is where we're at now. Okay, and anything could happen. If we get a close lower, then actually this is looking pretty miserable because we're just getting lower closes, lower closes, lower closes. The other thing to bear in mind is that you have this previous high pivot, and that was a little bit of an SR flip happening beforehand. Where's my SR flip line? There. You see that? The price reacted off the weekly time frame on that SR flip. We're underneath it now. This could be quite bearish, yeah, because then this begins to look like the whole thing begins to look like a failed auction. The only thing that makes me think that we're not just going down, down, down is because the World Trading Championships or Bybit is currently running, and usually when those championships are running, you don't get significant moves. Usually the price just goes horizontal, goes sideways. So I would be interested to see if we do close above the previous week low here, and then next week we just get a little bit of a pump rally and we're just back into that failed auction, and we just kind of we're just creating some kind of structure here over the next 3-4 weeks. And then it brings me back to my title, which was September pump. At the moment, looking at this red candle, it does look a little bit bearish just because of the rejection that we experience. But we have to see how the monthly candle closes, yeah? I'd like to see what kind of wick. I mean, I like to see if this closes underneath this previous month high or not. That wick there. I'd also like to see if we close above or below the 50 fib of the previous month body. $111,334. We have to see how this monthly closes, yeah? We already know it's got a crazy selling tail on the top. I want to see if we get a buying tail. I want to see if we close above the previous month midpoint off the body of that candle, and that would be above that previous month high there. So there's a few things happening in the next few days, and we just have to keep an eye on it. If we have a strong close, it is possible to pump. It is possible to pump. It is possible, and this is what I'm seeing right now, just looking at the candles right now, just based on the lines that I've drawn. It is possible that this candle is just testing the top of that red candle, yeah? And that's correct. That would be a correct candle where you've got this red candle testing the top of that red candle. So there's no real gap there. And then the next candle could be a green candle taking us to higher prices, like a real nice pump candle. The other thing I'm seeing is that I'm not seeing crazy volume yet. So for higher prices, we probably need increasing volume. But potentially you've got an SR flip happening here. So let me just kind of put my candles back in. Let me just go back to my original analysis. Check those out. It's a bit messy. Where's that SR flip line that I have? Did I lose it? No, it's there. yeah, it's kind of slightly lower than this pivot that's been put in. So, you know, it is interesting because ideally you want that to hit on Tuesday. It is always possible to just take out that pivot for an SFP reaction, and then just kind of pump as well. That can happen anytime. So even though it preferably happened on Tuesday, maybe that pivot is in, you know, it's always possible for the price to just take out that low and then pump as well. But who knows? No one really knows. Okay, so be good to keep an eye on that pivot if you get a swing failure, because that is into some kind of unusual SR flip on this monthly time frame. Is it the monthly time frame? Yeah, that's red. The top of this red candle. There's a little bit of an SR flip happening there. If we can get that to hold above that pivot on the monthly time frame, I would argue that potentially we're going to go up. Okay, so we have to see, right? Let me have a look at the order flow one more time before I finish this Bitcoin analysis. Longs closing here. See that? I can't see any absorption. So yeah, I mean, as long as the price is underneath the VWAP, the daily open, it's just going to be a little bit bearish, isn't it? If I kind of change the time frame here, maybe to 4 hours, see if there's any kind of higher time frame divergences forming. Yeah, I mean, the higher time frame, there are divergences. You can see it from these pivots here to where we are now. You can see the CVD's gone there. So on higher time frame, like the medium to higher time frame, there is absorption happening here. The minute you take out that lowest pivot, then the whole thing becomes bearish again because there's no divergence anymore. Right, that is Bitcoin. I hope that you enjoyed that. I'm just going to move on to the next chart quickly. I'm not going to have a long stream today. I think Bitcoin right now is determining everything. So everything is reacting to Bitcoin, and we have to kind of keep an eye on Bitcoin now to see what happens next. Let me go and have a look at ETH quickly to see what's going on there. Yeah, it's basically following Bitcoin. ETH BTC looking a little bit stronger than Bitcoin, which is good to see. Solana a little bit stronger than Bitcoin. So Solana is looking quite stronger compared to Bitcoin. That's quite interesting. So there's something there that we had the ETH pump, and now Solana is feeling a little bit stronger than Bitcoin, isn't it? See that? See, Solana BTC is going up, isn't it? So that's quite interesting. So I wonder if there's going to be a rotation. You know how there's usually a rotation from Bitcoin to ETH, ETH to other tokens. Maybe Solana is there's a rotation into Solana right now. Look at that. Solana's above the value area now. Wow. It's looking quite strong, huh? Let's have a look at Sui. Sui's just basically weak. So Sui's no longer flavor of the month. All right, now Solana's looking quite good. All right, so I'm done with that. Let me have a look at QANX. I'm going to have a really quick QANX analysis. I'm not going to go into crazy depth. Nothing's really changed since last week when I did QANX on Friday. I just basically said this is kind of range bound. It's kind of going sideways, and we're getting a little bit of a sell-off here, but it's kind of going sideways after that cipher, that pattern that I talked about. That wasn't it. That cipher, after that cipher, we had our reaction. We're kind of just going sideways. Yeah. It's kind of unfortunate because I want to come back to people who are watching my streams with QANX and say, yeah, This is it. This is the moon. Let's go. Moon, moon, moon. And unfortunately, I've got nothing to say. It's quite hard actually, because I'm trying to think of things to say and I can't when there's nothing to say. So let me just, I'm just kind of on my other screen. I'm just having a look at, I'm going to have a look at the X page to see if there's anything interesting here. August 27th. Okay, let's just have a look at the X page. Maybe I can find something interesting apart from sideways price action, which is what I've been saying all the time. Quantum computing is emerging as a real game changer and a real threat for cybersecurity. IBM's Cost of Data Breach Report 2025 reveals organizations are recognizing the risks posed by quantum-powered attacks, with quantum security tools now among the top 10 data breach cost-reducing factors. Wow. So that's a really important press release, isn't it? That's really important. 26. We have received many AMA requests from our community. The Quant Platform team is always open to your suggestions. Okay. So actually nothing really interesting apart from a regurgitated press release from IBM on the August the 27th. I think that's probably why. That's probably why the price is a little bit flat. So in that sense, I would argue that there's no changes to what I originally said, which is dips are buying opportunities. And it's quite frustrating for a lot of people because we want to pump, we want to go to the moon, we want to make a bit of money, we want to become rich, and you know, when the price is just going sideways, and it has been for a long time, what do? More accumulation? I don't know. I don't really have an easy answer, but I can't really see anything apart from what I said last week. It's just going sideways. QANX going sideways. What's new? At least we're not getting crazy sell-offs, huh? That's the main thing. Let me have a look at the weekly time frame. The weekly candle at the moment looks okay if it can close higher than the previous week low. That's really important. Otherwise, you end up with a bearish engulfing candle. So we have to be aware of that. So we're quite close to being a bearish engulfing, and we don't want that. We don't want a bearish engulfing because the week that follows could be a double distance drop. We have to be aware of that. And then on the monthly time frame, well, let's have a look at the volume here quickly. The month hasn't ended, but we do have slightly decreasing volume. Slightly. It's so close to each other that you might argue that no, it's the same. With just maybe it's the same, and then these two are just deviations. You could argue that, or you could just look at it and go, actually, we are generally decreasing in volume, and increasing prices, decreasing volume is not bullish. It's kind of somewhat bearish. We are getting a nice reaction from this point of control, and we have this kind of this bigger triangle that's formed. But what we really do need to see is increasing volume, increasing prices to the upside. We need to get back up to that value area high. And we're not doing that yet. We're just kind of consolidating. Might be waiting for Bitcoin, huh? Everything's waiting for Bitcoin right now. Oh my God, my chart is not drawn. There you got a local range that's formed. We're at the value area low. So we are range bound. We're at the low of the range. It's a good place to pick up some QANX, to be honest with you. Because assuming it stays in this range, but obviously you're not going to get a better place than below this pivot into the point of control, are you? That's really the place to buy if you're looking for picking up this token maybe for the first time. You get a kind of really nice hit, take out that pivot low into the point of control, maybe kind of even into this trend line a bit of reaction, and then that could kind of be the big impulse that we're looking for the next move. You know, who knows? Something like that. Taking out that pivot low, but for a big reaction off the point of control. And that's when you start to expand to higher prices really fast. Okay. Still got a month to go on this 3 monthly candle. The two monthly candle closes in 2 days and 11 hours. Potentially it's not a bad candle because let's see how the month closes, but potentially you could have similar or increasing volume on that candle. That 2 monthly candle. It could be quite good. Could be seeing a little bit of a reversal here into the point of control. Keep an eye out for that. Look at that. Here. Just hide these. A little bit of reversal here because you close low on that red candle and then you reverse it with that green candle. Now we're getting another green candle just to kind of reverse out of here. So there is potential here to go up. And that 12 monthly candle is obviously trying to put in a higher low. Yeah. Okay. I think that's QANX. If anyone's interested, it's a good to go to the Quan platform Telegram channel. I'm going to show you it right now. This is the official channel, Quan platform Telegram. I sometimes read it. I see some things. And then there's this other channel which I'm in, which is called the new Quan platform trading. It's about 1,000 members. This is the one that I'm usually active in, mainly just to post my videos, and so this is quite a good one. And here you can have a good chit chat. To most of these people know more about QANX than me because they've been kind of following this project for a much longer time. Some interesting information here. Right, that is Quan platform. I'm gonna have a look at TRVL now. Straight into TRVL, and then I'll finish my stream hopefully in 10 minutes and have a kind of a little bit of a short stream today, Friday. So TRVL is having a little bit of a pullback, isn't it? Now, I don't know. It was quite good, yeah. And this is interesting because I had this VWAP, this anchored VWAP drawn out from the pivot high back in December, and we tried to breach it, and then we've come above it, and we're trying to just hold it as support, kind of consolidate, and it looks like we're losing it. And the other thing that I did was this volume range pull from that same pivot high to the current price, and you can see that for a short period of time we were actually trying to hold the support. You see that? And yesterday I was actually quite hopeful that maybe we're just going to hold this area to support. And what's actually happened is have some continued selling. It looks like it's low volume or decreasing volume, which is kind of what you want to see. You want to see reduction in volume. But it does look like we're kind of going through this level, which I thought maybe was holding a support. We kind of want it to hold the support. If there's any big whales out there, just mark it by, please. But you see that we're kind of here. We're kind of losing this area. It goes back to what I was saying before about possibly this coming up down a bit lower. Now, honestly, I have no idea what's going to happen. Right now, this looks like we've put in a lower low. No, we haven't actually. Oh, yeah, higher high. This is a lower low. Bam. So we just put in the first low low. Kind of a low low in the 4-hour time frame. A little bit of market structure. Potential change. But again, I'm kind of still thinking the same thing. The reason I came up with this level was just simply just kind of a volume range pull. And it was the value area, high area there. See, that's kind of why I was imagining that if we can come there and just kind of hold that area, and then when Bitcoin really wants to go up at the same time we come into this trend line. I don't know, because I've got Bitcoin maybe bottoming out here on Tuesday. Does Bitcoin go up first and then altcoins go up afterwards at the weekend? Yeah, there is possibility for that. Or and then how do we go up? Do we go up like in a crazy way, or do we just go up to put in a lower high? No one really knows what's going to happen here. I do feel like this, if we're going to put in a right shoulder, this is the area to do it. Kind of have something forming like this. As well. It's a bit of a big range here, isn't there, on the price action. Anyway, that's kind of TRVL. I mean, I don't really have much to say except we're at good prices. It's overall, it's really, really bullish. Overall, it's really bullish, and I'll explain why. Just for people who haven't seen these videos before and they're like, why is he so obsessed or fascinated with this token? When you look at the monthly time frame, you're looking at increasing prices, increasing volume. Yeah, assuming it closes green, it's going to be bullish. And now really what I want is a green close above the previous month high. That will be a continuation. So we have quite a lot of volume coming in here. And ideally what you do want is a shorter selling tail than the body, but we have to see how that plays out. This weekly candle is coming back down to give back the gains. And I mean, I think what I want to see in this week is I want to see kind of the price close above there, if possible. Maybe a wick down to there or somewhere. We'd have to see how this week plays out. Look at the 2-month candle. Look, this is a 2-month candle. Look at the volume on that 2 months. The most volume in 2 months ever. A big buy up. However this candle ends, it's bullish. This 2-month candle is really bullish. Yeah. Because it's just, look at it, it's just fucking bullish. Even if it ends up as an inverse hammer, it's bullish. Inverse hammer in the lows onto some kind of higher time frame support is bullish. This 2-month candle is really bullish. And it just affirms what I'm seeing on the monthly time frame. Let's have a look at 2 weeks. Yeah, look at the volume there. Look, in the last 2 weeks, more volume in the last 2 weeks than the previous 2 weeks. Similar volume than the previous 2 weeks. Look at the volume. The volume is really nice here. So we're seeing some quite heavy trading, some quite heavy accumulation at these prices. So I'm feeling quite good about TRVL actually. And I'm in El Salvador here. I'm onboarding properties onto the D-Travel network. In case you don't know what I've been doing, then if you haven't checked, then go check. What should you check? I'm going to show you right now. If you go to the app, the travel app, find a stay. And if you go to El Salvador, search, look at that. How amazing is that? Last night, I was with 2 hosts last night at the early hours of 1 a.m. I'm going to show you a picture, actually. Oh my God, in this picture, my eyes are closed. It's a matter. There you go. My eyes are closed, but here you go. This is at 2 a.m. This is in El Salvador, in San Salvador. This is the my friend Majid. This is my other friend Carlos, and we were just sitting in front of our laptops, and they were both onboarding. I was onboarding both of them onto D-Travel. Magic was able to do it, and those are his properties. And Carlos, he did it, but then there was a slight problem with the pricing, and it didn't on Airbnb, and so he has to just adjust that. I'm going to follow up with him today and get that on. So this is kind of my mission here in El Salvador, to onboard properties. And here I am at 1:30 a.m. last night, just onboarding in my pajamas, onboarding. And so that's quite interesting. Huh? We got 3 new listings on D-Travel. And so right now, if you want, you can come to San Salvador. You could book the whole house, an elegant 5-bedroom, 6-bathroom, large, stylish 9-bedroom home. Like, so basically what he's done is he's split his home into separate listings, and you can book that now on D-Travel without paying fees to Airbnb. And also, if you want, you can pay using crypto. So let me just kind of, oh my God, just a little bit slow. I don't know if it's my internet. It could be, probably is my internet. Yeah, my internet's a little bit slow. Don't know why it's slow right now, because I'm looking at the stream. And yeah, the stream is kind of variable right now. I'm not sure what's going on here. But hey, that's quite exciting, isn't it? I think that's quite exciting. Let's see. Let's do a week. So there's a request to book there for a week. Yeah. So he's got a request to book. So you can't go and book it straight away. You can just request to book it, and you can obviously contact him. And the other property that we were looking at was really, really lovely. It's on the coast by the beach. And so when that comes up, I'm going to basically, as I progress in my El Salvador mission, which is to bring the whole of El Salvador onto D-Travel, I'm going to be kind of following this with a little bit of a journey, a little bit of a blog, and I'm going to be showing every single property. And probably in the future, I'm going to be making videos and recording every single property in El Salvador. And that's kind of what I'm doing right here, right now. And at the same time, I'm kind of following the charts and just looking at the charts and seeing how that reflects into the price of TRVL. So if people are bearish and are selling, don't be bearish and sell, because I'm out here busting a gut, doing what I really think is going to change the shape, the face and shape of D-Travel across Central South America. There's a real opportunity here, I see, and I think that we're gonna see some really amazing results. And so it's a tricky one, you know, because the price is falling. What do you do? Do you buy, sell? What do you do? You kind of need the price to settle a little bit, or settle. And it's quite good to kind of catch the price with limit orders and absorb the selling. There's a low here on the 1 hour time frame. We haven't changed market structure yet, but you can see that we are kind of, we struggled to put in, we needed to take out that high, which we didn't. So the higher low, I don't mind this structure, you know. I don't mind these kind of red weeks, green weeks, red weeks, green weeks. I don't mind the way this structure is forming, to be honest with you. It doesn't look unhealthy. It would look a lot more unhealthy when you just get green, 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 green. Whereas right now, what we're getting is like real nice structure forming at these lows, similar to what we had before here, where we had structure, but the price just kept on going up and up and up. What's changed for me? Nothing really. And when I look at the Bollinger Bands, which I was looking at before, you see the Bollinger Band on the weekly time frame is holding as support. And so we're getting a little bit of a pullback. That's mainly due to Bitcoin, all right? Mainly due to Bitcoin. And then we have to see what happens. I'm not kind of going to speculate right now. There's a little bit of a selling here, a little bit of panic, but there's no reason to be panicked. I'm out here onboarding properties onto the D-Travel network in El Salvador. I'm promoting D-Travel. I'm wearing my D-Travel cap everywhere I go. I'm wearing my D-Travel shirt. Yesterday, I met with the congressman here in El Salvador, who signed the Bitcoin law into effect here in El Salvador. And guess what I did? I told him about D-Travel. I told him about everything about D-Travel. That's what I did. Yeah, I did that. Yeah. I was telling him about my properties, my completed bookings. I showed him all of this. Can you believe that? I showed him. And these people are very, very interested in crypto. They're very interested in these real world applications. and how these applications will impact and change ordinary people's lives here in Central South America, and El Salvador is leading the way. And so naturally what I showed him yesterday was an empty El Salvador, and my aim is in the next few weeks to show him tens and dozens of properties all coming onto the D-Travel network in El Salvador. That's really my aim, and that will be a real breakthrough revolution, because all of a sudden they're going to be like, oh wow, yeah, they're out here and they're doing something really amazing, and we're helping people and we're transforming people's lives. And that's kind of what D-Travel is about. It's a real movement that we're building here, and hoping that people will be impacted in a positive way. If you go to the Telegram, there's always good stuff there. Oops. Let's have a look what's going on here. This is it. This was the property that we onboarded yesterday. The new booking site activated. The Jaguar House just launched a new direct booking site powered by D-Travel with listings in San Salvador. And this is a good place to find information. Oh, here, this is it. Where is that? Casa Tortuga. Metalia. Where is that one? Is that the other one? Casa Tortuga. That means turtle in Spanish. Yes, this is it. This is the other one. Look, Casa Tortuga. Look at that. Private country house at the beach. So this is the other property. This is Carlos's beach house. Let me just bring his picture back because I deleted it. I have to go back until his image comes back. There he is. This is Carlos there. So that's his property, Casa Tortuga. So yep, there it is. You can go right now and potentially book. Oh yeah, you see, there's something wrong with the rates there, but the property is showing, but it's not showing on this. Probably because the rates aren't adjusted correctly, so that needs to be fixed. But you can see that it's gone live because here, look, new booking site activated. Casa Tortuga just launched a new direct booking site. See that? So that's two properties, that's one listing, and that's another three there. That's in El Salvador. That's why I'm out here. I'm out here to bring El Salvador onto the D-Travel network. Oh, that's really exciting. Actually, I'm just going to print that and send that to my friends. I'm quite excited by that, to be honest with you. I'm going to send that to them. They're going to be excited. Really excited. Carlos. But I'm going to help him out today to sort that, whatever that was, that problem, fix that problem. Okay. What else did I want to share with you? There is one other thing I wanted to share with you. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to share this, actually. But you know me, I like to share stuff. Even though I'm not allowed to share stuff, I like to share stuff. So maybe I shouldn't share this, but I'm going to share it. Because the thing is, on Telegram, I can't share it because you can't view it. So how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? I don't know. I have to figure this out.
Hello guys.
That's it. WhatsApp. I'll do it on WhatsApp. I'm going to bring it over here onto this screen. I don't know if I should share this, but whatever. I don't know if I'm allowed, but whatever. This is really exciting. Watch this.
Hello guys, so I'm on my way to stay in the villa that I booked for D-Travel, and I'm looking forward to meet the host and also to show you the experience that I live there. Okay, apparently we're here, So just a minute until I show you my house. Oh yeah, this is it. Hi, thank you so much. The villa was unbelievable and I got welcomed in the best way possible.
My name is Andrew.
Andrew?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Nice to meet you, Andrew. Then Andrew started to explain me all the details of check-in, check-out, and I even asked him if I could check out later, and he agreed. Now, join me with my welcome drink and let's explore the villa. What I loved about this villa, besides the location, was the decoration. You felt that you were in an old money house but paying 3 times less. So yeah, I guess this is it. Thank you so much guys for watching the whole experience with me and for the tour. I hope you enjoyed it and I can't wait to keep exploring more properties around Bali through this travel. See you soon! Hello guys!